This is my 1985 Toyota 4runner converted to a Formula toy, FTOY. I'm going to tell you everything I can think off the top of my head about the vehicle as me and a friend built it together. I pretty much picked all the parts and he did all the fabrication because I'm not a welder myself and I knew he was a very good welder. But anyways, it started out as a 1985 4runner. That's what the frame is. It does not have a title. When I got rid of the body, they required that for scrap metal, so I just register it as an OHV vehicle. But what I'm going to do is start from the front to the back and let you know everything I know about the vehicle. We added a stinger. It's got a FJ40 grille with two HID headlights that work perfectly, no issues with that. Going down here to the suspension, you can see it's got Alcan Orbit-I leaf springs on the front, and it's got custom Alcan springs. The steering setup is just a stock Toyota gearbox. It does not have hydraulic assist. You could add that later on if you wanted to, but I've never needed it because it does have a front E-locker, so I can lock it and unlock it, so when it gets into tight spots I can just unlock it. But that would be something if you wanted to add later. It's got sleeves, high steer arms combined with the factory lowers, which makes it a double shear. So this, as far as the knuckles, you'll never have any problems with the steering on that. You can see the rotor's a little rusted. That's how long it's sat here. I haven't driven it in about, I don't know, 3 months, but I do keep it covered, so I guess some water just dripped down there on the rotor. But it's got Heim joints at both ends of the tie rod. Moving on over here, the front axle is a 1995 FZJ80. So it does have the electric locker option. You can see the servo there. This was converted to leaf springs as it was a coil on the Land Cruiser, and it has no issues with that. You can see the perches welded on there. Up front here, that's the 3L, the Toyota 3L that was imported from Japan. It came out of a 1990 Hilux. It had about 60,000 miles on it. According to the importer out in California, it was a company called Soshin, S-O-S-H-I-N. That's who I bought that from. That was about a $3,500 engine right there to get to my house. But it's a strong running engine. I took it to a mechanic after I got it and did a compression test. I don't have any documentation on that, but I did watch him do it, and it was all within, you know, just a couple percent of each other on all 4 cylinders. It had really high compression. You'll be able to tell that when I start it up here in a little bit. I added a DTS turbo kit, which uses a Mitsubishi. I don't know if you can see that here. Let's see. It's a Mitsubishi TD04-11G supercharger. The kit came with the turbo, the exhaust manifold, the downpipe, all that stuff. The exhaust goes all the way back up underneath. It's 2.5 inch. You can see it goes up to it goes straight up to, and I put a tractor flapper on there, which I thought was kind of cool, but that's my tastes, you know. It could be removed if you didn't like it, but I thought it was kind of neat. We added this engine cradle here to go over the top of the engine just in case there was ever a rollover, and this vehicle's never even been flopped or rolled, so that hasn't had to been utilized yet. I used the stock Toyota alternator. I sent that off to a company here in Denver, Colorado. A1 Base is the company, and they charged me about $300, and they upgraded that to a 130 amp output, so I've never had any issues with that. It's plenty of power for the whole buggy. It's got a warranty, lifetime warranty on their work and stuff. I've got that with it. I got some paperwork I'll have to dig up. My buddy who wired this whole buggy is very meticulous at what he does. I dropped it off. You can kind of see in the wiring. I dropped it off with him 1 week and didn't get it back for a month later. He worked on it every night after work, and he's very meticulous about that. heat shrunk and soldered every connection on this thing, so there would never be any issues with that. I've been out in rain, snow, and everything, and I've never had an electrical issue with this buggy. There's a screw-on fuel filter for the diesel fuel. He also fabbed this radiator shroud here. It's got a Ford Taurus 2-speed electric fan. On the dash there is a toggle switch that has high and low and off. It's a three-point switch there. You can turn it high, low, or off. I just leave it on low and it cools it more than it needs to. But if you're in a hot area, you could put it on high and it would take care of that. I put a brand new radiator in it when we built it. It's probably got 3 years on this build and haven't used it a lot, and that's kind of why I decided to sell it. I sold my pulling truck and my trailer, my Cummins, so I just have no use for it now, and I'd rather pay some bills off right now, so that's why it's going up for sale. But moving along here, it's got a Toyota. The transmission came out of an 87 four-wheel drive turbo truck, so it's got the lower first gear. It's the R151F. It's got 23 spline output, both transfer cases. You can see here, it's got double transfer cases with a double transfer skid plate. They were professionally put together by Hillside Off-Road in Colorado. The front one's 228 and the back one's 4.7. With the 4.7 gear set is Marlin Crawler's gear set, with the doubler being Marlin Crawler's as well. And they're both 23 spline. It's got a stereo system. I got two Insignia, which is Best Buy's brand, outdoor speakers. And then over here I got an Alpine deck in a that does CD, MP3, AM, FM. I got that in a marine case. Follow it down here, it's got external USB, and when you follow it down here, you can see I got a thumb drive with all my music on it, which is kind of cool. I got a ton of music on there, and I can play it all day long through just that. Removable steering wheel here. Let me see, it's got the quick disconnect on there. Right now it's set up to be a 3-seater because I have this ARB style Norcold fridge mounted where the 4th seat was going to go. That is not included. I'm going to keep that. I built a 4runner because I'm kind of downsizing the off-roading department, so I got my 4runner for, you know, light wheeling and camping, so that's going in there. That's another reason I'm selling this, because I just don't use it anymore, this whole buggy. But I do have a 4th seat, which is brand new, and it comes with it's identical to the ones you see here. There's the 3rd one in the back. There's the other 2. The one that is going to come with the buggy, it's not going to be mounted. You'd have to fab some seat mounts, but it comes with the seat itself and the cover, which is brand new. This one right here, it's got a slider on it, on a track here, so the only seat that's adjustable is the driver's seat. And when you're sitting in the vehicle here, get up in here, you can see this is the dashboard. I'll turn the key on just to accessory. That noise you hear right now is the Viair onboard air compressor. You can see I've got a temperature. Turn the radio down here. That's a coolant temperature. That's an EGT, the exhaust gas temperature. And you can see it's about 60 degrees out here right now. So when I start this here in a few minutes, I haven't started it in about a week, so you'll know that you can see what it's like on a cold start. This is boost pressure. That turbo kit I got on there is putting out about 5 psi. This button right here is a momentary glow plugs, which I rarely need them unless you're out below, you know, freezing weather. Turn this off here. First toggle switch here is headlights. Second one is going to be the front differential lock. Third one is going to be the high-low off for the fan. Third one, or the fourth one here is for the that's the underground HID lights. It has 3 of those, and then the last one is going to be the rear differential lock. And you can see that I got LED indicators here. That's for the front. Over on this side, that's for the rear. so when it's locked in, that's lit up. Same with that one. What else can I show you here? Let me get back out of here. I had a special button canvas top made for it, which is kind of nice. Keep the sun off your head when you're wheeling in the summertime. This up here is just a vent basically for the crankcase. I've got another one back here for the fuel tank. This hose goes down to the fuel cell. It's got a 14-inch sway-away nitrogen shocks. It's got the factory Toyota Land Cruiser geometry suspension links, so it's basically a 4-link with panhard. It's got ballistic fab joints on there at all points, so it's got 8 of those. They're fully rebuildable, the orbital joints. The rear axle is if I can get over here. The rear axle has the differential lock on it as well. You can see the servo there. Both of these are fully functional, no issues with those. There's the Viair compressor, the fuel tank, or the air tank, I'm sorry, and then the fuel cell for the diesel fuel. And then you go over here, and this is kind of a neat feature I added in case you want to crush your cans on the trail. This is a pneumatic can crusher. So apparently I've got a little bit of air pressure in the air tank back there since I started it up. But there's a spare tire on the back with a, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got like a big wing nut type thing. You just spin it off and then you can lift it off there. Oh, the front axle does have Bobby Longfield Burfields in it. It's still, I put all new grade 8 hardware in there for the drive flanges, repacked all the Burfields and the seals and everything, so those are good to go. The rear axle's the 1995, it's the matching one to the front, so it's got the diff lock, and it's got 4-wheel disc brakes all the way around it, plus both axles have 529 gears professionally set up by Foothill Off-Road as well, or I'm sorry, Hillside Off-Road. They were set up with solid spacers, and the ring and pinions were from Nitro gear from I bought those offline from JC's, I think, or JT's Off-Road or something, but those were professionally set up, no issues with those. But I guess right now I will fire it up here, and this is put the key in here, this is a cold start. It's about 60 degrees, so here it goes. That's the Viair again, kicking on. Fires right up. It's got good compression. It's a tight sounding engine. I'll rev it up here and you can kind of see the exhaust. Just an excellent rock crawler. I hate to get rid of it, but like I said, I just don't have a truck or trailer anymore, so you know, it's gonna have to go, I guess. I put expanded metal for the floorboards on both sides. Need to touch them up a little bit with some paint, but there's expanded metal in between the floorboards and the back so you can see the drive line. And it's great for your approach and departure. You know, you can kind of see what's going on, what's kind of obstacles are underneath you. But you can see the EGT right now is 210 degrees. It'll probably, if I can hold it here, it'll kick it up a little bit. You hear the turbo spooling up too, but just shut it off so you can hear a little better. But that's it. If you have any questions, email me. I'm sure there's probably something I forgot. I only built this with the best parts you could get, you know, the best of the best. So, with all the Toyota stuff, it's 100% Toyota. So, thanks for viewing.